guys, I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and you know what? The Motorola Droid X is officially a member of the club. Now you're sitting here thinking, what club, Aaron? I like to call it the Froyo Club. Froyo, Froyo. Looks like Fat Albert. Froyo, 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 Froyo. Froyo. That's just creepy. That's just straight up creepy. Anyway, Android 2.2 or Froyo on the Motorola Droid X. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of some of the changes, some of the modifications that have taken place as a result of the update. So here's the Motorola Droid X running Android 2.2 or Froyo, as John likes to call it in his Weekly Bone video. You'll notice immediately that the bottom looks a little bit different in terms of the lock screen. Different icons, different slide structure, and you'll notice the PM up top. That's the telltale way to tell that you're running Android 2.2, that small PM part up in the top right-hand corner. From cosmetic perspective, it's very similar to Android 2.1. You know, Moto Blur really does a good job of disguising most of it, but you'll notice some changes on the inside, which we're going to start discussing right now. First of all, Gmail has changed. Not only does it change in Android 2.2, but there's an additional update available in the Android market. Now, ironically, the update in the Android market is only available for 2.2, so it's kind of a moot point. But once you install that, you'll notice that Gmail is a little bit different. I set up an email account, oldmanmctweety@gmail.com, just for the video. So I have a couple different emails in here. So let's look at this one, for example. And you'll notice the header of the email is a little bit different. Some new icons up top. You'll see there reply, start, and you can do a couple different by clicking on the arrow. You can expand that and look at reply, reply all, or forward. And you can star it, and you can do some new options with the labels. So nice additions there, and if I can find one that's long enough, see if this one is. Not long enough, but when you scroll down, this part stays up at the top and doesn't move. So it's nice. You can, no matter where you're at in the email, you can always look up and say, oh, okay, it's from Gmail team. Some new options on the Google search bar as well. You have the option of voice to text, where you can text message some, or voice some of your commands rather. And you have the improved search bar, so where you can search from things like the web, apps, music, contacts, and MSpot. You can customize that as well if you want to. You can search on things like the web, apps, and some that I don't have selected, like Twitter and Kindle. So a couple more options on the search front, and then you can use voice to speak things. For example, search PhoneDog. Let's see if it comes up. Speak novel search PhoneDog. Be removal search PhoneDog. Let's try it again. Search PhoneDog. I did mean search PhoneDog, except it may not come up because it's two. It's, you know, in our logo it's one word, whereas it's two there. But you get the idea. You can do that, and you can do a couple different things with the voice option. So that improved search bar is there. This one I just had to throw in because Verizon threw it in their update, and it was kind of funny. VZ Navigator's pre-installed on the Froyo build for the Droid X. So when you do update, you get the VZ Navigator logo. Now, you know, that said, I don't know why anybody would pay, unless they just really prefer VZ Navigator, I don't know why anybody would pay $9.99 per month for that when you get Google Maps out of the box for free, which, you know, in my opinion is a fantastic navigation option. So I'm not really sure why, but I thought that was humorous, so I thought I'd throw that in. And the new market's installed as well. So let's go to the Android market. You notice some minor changes here. Let's just go to the Verizon tab, for example, and let's look at NFL Mobile, which I'm not a football person, but for those that are, it's there. NFL Mobile's free, and you'll notice that it's separated into the two tabs, About and Comments. Scroll up and down like that, and then you can see the comments as well in the separate tab. Auto-updating as well, so let's go to my downloads, and we'll have a look. Let's just do voice search, for example. See, the allow automatic updating is checked. So Android 2.2, as you know, allows automatic updating. That's included in this build. Some are checked by default, and then others still require manual upgrading, depending on the actual program itself. So moving on, you can still, now you can store apps to the SD card, which is a huge benefit. So let's go down into the settings and have a look. And let's go back to Applications, Manage Applications, and you'll see the tabs are there. So we're looking at downloaded apps right now. You can see between running all and on SD card. So you can install apps on the SD card, which, you know, one of the biggest problems with Android 2.1, manufacturers were shipping the device with little to no built-in memory, And, you know, instead of having 8 gigabytes, let's say like the Droid Incredible, it would ship with 400 megabytes of available memory. Perfectly fine for a couple of applications, but when you get into, you know, if you're somebody that runs several applications or likes to download stuff, it became a problem. So it's nice to see in Android 2.2, you have the option to store apps on the SD card if you so desire. So that's one. And then, of course, I shouldn't have backed out while I was in there. Pretend you didn't see that. Let's go back in. While I'm there, manage applications. You'll see let's go to download. You'll notice Adobe Flash Player pre-installed on the device. So now you get Flash while browsing the web. Big pro there. Now, you know, that said, in this build I've had a couple of issues, not to jump around too much, but I've had a couple of issues. And I actually had this one with the Droid 2, which is also running Android 2.2 out of the box, actually. But I did have this issue, so it leads me to believe it's more of a Android 2.2 issue versus an issue with the Droid X's build specifically. But you notice the clock, it's 3:47 right now, and then the shortcut, or the widget rather, showing 3:47 as well. That's all well and good, but I've noticed as the hours go on, and depending on what I'm doing and how many apps are running, oftentimes I'll come back and that clock is frozen at a certain time. You know, for example, I was earlier, it was I'd say 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and I look and it was stuck on 10:30. So that's an issue. Another one that I've been having involves text messaging, and where the timestamp is updating, but it's not moving it to the top like it should. So, I mean, for example, I have these two in here from Kate and Chris. So let's say Chris text messages me, and he says, you know, I'll be there tomorrow, and it comes up. So it's 3:48. He text messages me at 3:48. It should, you know, theoretically, with all other phones, it should move it up to the top above Kate's in the queue. That said, it's been doing that 90% of the time, but every now and again I'm noticing that, you know, the time will update. It'll say 3:48, and it'll show his response, but it'll stay right here. So if you have a long list of people, you know, and you expect it to move to the top to, you know, show which ones are the most recent, you may have a problem with that. It doesn't happen all the time, like I said, but I've noticed it more than once, I'd say 4 or 5 times, where I've had a message way down here, and it's updated right now, so let's say 3:45 or 4 o'clock, but it still shows it down here on the bottom. It's not moving up into the top of the queue like it should. So, big issue there. So there you have it, a quick video recap of some of the updates and changes found in Android 2.2 or Froyo on the Motorola Droid X. Just so you know, you don't have to wait for Verizon to push the update to your device. You can scroll down to Settings, keep scrolling to About Phone, and tap System Updates to get it right away. Much more coverage to come on the Droid X, Android 2.2, Froyo, and all of that good stuff on PhoneDog.com. I'm Aaron. Thanks for watching. Froyo! Oh, Froyo! More like ice cream sandwich, but still Froyo! Thanks for watching.